and really, really appreciate you all coming out today. I see some great long-time CMU entrepreneurs in the audience, Elon Levy, and Elon, not Levy, sorry, and Kevin Dowling. How you doing, Kevin? Say hi to everybody. Run the robotics factory. It's great that you guys show up to support the community. Just a reminder, after the next two presentations, we're going to close the Schwartz down Center for a half hour and clear it out and set it up for an award ceremony and come back. So feel free, it's beautiful outside, to take a little lap around the building, see campus if you haven't been here for a while, and it's going to be a fun night at the award ceremony. Without further ado, the Solstis team.
Thank you. Everyone's doing well. Hopefully 2 more pitches to go. The crazy thing about the tech industry today is that there's a tool for virtually any problem out there. However, now teams spend most of the time navigating between these tools, which leads to context switching and wastes time. This breaks concentration and leads to major frustrations. I'm Pratik.
I'm Aarav.
I'm sorry. And I'm Samika. We all have worked across various organizations ranging from startups to big organizations. What we've realized is a fundamental problem that automations drive success, but they're not nearly as efficient as they should be. So what am I talking about? Let's see a developer's life cycle. First, we gather information. I don't like this part. I don't think any of us do. We search Confluence, explore the GitHub code base, find related tickets on Jira, gather Slack updates. What happens here is every single one of these applications works in silos. When we go through gathering this information, it takes our context switching capacity and breaks it down. So the next step is code and documentation questions, endless meetings with developers, endless meetings with managers, meet with your related teams, and finally get down to your task, and by that time, your manager is already shouting at you. So what happens now is this wastes about 4 hours per day per person.
And at a mid-sized organization with about 100 developers, which each developer costing $83 an hour, your company could lose up to $17.2 million annually. And not just that, context switching and gathering information alone could result in decrease of productivity by up to 40%, which is why we introduced Solstis.
Solstis simplifies workflow automation by letting users create, execute, and visualize automations in virtually any application using API agents. To be honest, it's as easy as typing. Let's see how it works.
So when a user gets onto the Solstis dashboard, they simply connect their application to begin with. For example, here we've connected GitHub, Jira, Slack, Calendar, Notion, etc. Right now, we're going to create an automation called Update, which collects and provides updates from a particular task from different applications that are connected in your tech stack. You give it an automation name, a brief overview, and finally choose the applications that are involved in this particular automation. So GitHub, Jira, Slack, Calendar is what I want to use here. The next thing, like Samika mentioned, you give instructions in natural language. You break it down step by step and give everything as you want it to be. You give it some formatting rules, some additional information like getting images, links, etc. And you click Create. Once you do that, our agents automatically create these automations for you while you sit back and relax. With a single command, Update pulls in real-time insights from all of your connected applications to give you a comprehensive view of any task. It identifies blockers, suggests immediate action items, and ensures your team stays aligned without any necessary back and forth again and again.
So now, Update is just one example. You can connect virtually any application in your tech stack, create issues from these updates, send reminders to your teams, create entire documents in Notion from emails. This happens all through our natural language interface. We have self-improving agents that learn your workflows over time and fix any discrepancies so that you don't have to manually maintain these automations. We can connect any platform with API documentation with over 500 tools, and we have real-time visualizations where you can visualize the tool set in our integration flow, and instead of actually going in and doing this, my favorite part, just ask the Solstis AI to modify it. And that's it. That's how you maintain these automations.
Instead of solving the current problem at hand, current tools create new ones. They are complex to set up, require constant maintenance, and the automations are fragile, which means that they don't adapt to a user's constantly changing workflow. And that's where Solstis stands apart. The market opportunity that we're targeting is the North American workflow automation market, which stands at $8.8 billion. And our goal is to target the DevOps teams within the small to medium-sized enterprises to begin with. We operate on a users-based pricing model, where it scales based on the automation solutions for individuals, teams, and enterprises. And we're also working towards an API access with custom deployment for enterprises.
So now let's look at our timeline. November, we started ideation, interviewed 80+ people in project management, developers, etc. We build fast and we iterate faster. So we deployed our alpha version to All Hands AI with over 3,000 users in their active Slack channel. In January 2025, we got our first paid pilot with All Hands AI, our second paid pilot with FlexTract. We have letters of intent from Crossbeam, a 200-person organization, and Lucid Motors, which is a 5,000-person organization. These LOIs translate to nearly 50,000 ARR. Now, we're going to be releasing our public beta this month, so stay tuned, sign up on our waitlist. Our waitlist has many more companies which indicate early adoption, and we're looking towards releasing this and seeing exactly where this goes.
Thank you.
You are not asking a customer to stop using Slack, GitHub, right? You're saying you will incorporate instead of someone having to go and do what you just described, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
So our API agents are going to go in and connect everything for you, and then you go in and just work on it. This is another example. Go ahead.
And do you, because I think it would be important showing the transparency in how your AI makes decisions. Meaning, or yes, go ahead.
So the flow that you saw, like when we had made everything into a canvas visualization. Pratik, can you go back to that slide?
Yeah, for sure.
So what happens there is every single step is broken down according to the instructions the user bases. And then you can see exactly which agent is working on which instruction. Okay. If you want to modify the agent, since it learns over time, it will learn your modifications and modify exactly the steps that you wanted to change without affecting the rest of the automation.
Do you have any governance to sort of, like protect against it doing things that the user would not want it to do?
Yes, so we have a feedback mechanism. When the user interacts with this, we have a thumbs up, thumbs down, and then we also have feedback mechanism to tell you exactly what they like about the response and what they don't, and then the model just learns over time.
There's another thing that we're introducing, something called guardrails, which protects the agent from doing things that it's not supposed to do. And if it's a Jira agent, it can only interact with Jira and do certain things.
Is that your concept, or is that a concept that's out there
That's
already?
a concept out there that can
Got
be
it.
integrated into
Okay.
our platform.
And our custom framework, like we have an agentic framework that's custom to our application, that takes care of all this.
So maybe can you flip back to your competitive slide?
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right.
So Zapier obviously started pre-AI agent era. Assume in a year they're going to try to build the same features. I mean, they've already started to work on it. What can you do better, and what's your kind of competitive moat?
We actually tried creating these automations that our customers are currently using with Zapier, and instead of creating the automation, it told us how to create it. Like,
So the AI basically is not as up to par. The problem with Zapier is that their entire code base is mature after 4 years. They work on end-to-end automations with user input. That's what their brand image is based on. For them to translate this into an agentic framework using AI introduces non-determinism. That's a risk to their reputation, and when they introduce it right now, the reviews are so bad that they actually remove some of their AI features to make sure the users can keep interacting with it as manually as possible to drive that accuracy.
and they use a drag and drop workflow, which is completely different from our platform.
And to add on one more thing to that, our thing updates as the documentation updates, right? Like GitHub's documentation is not going to stay static over time. As it updates, our agents will automatically pick up those updates. Whereas Zapier, they have a very fixed set of documentation that they have to go and manually update for each application that you want to connect.
So your UI looks like that chatbot. This is it.
Yes, that is absolutely right.
Resin, you have a question?
So just to piggyback on Zach's question, is this something things like OpenAI, ChatGPT, et cetera, could also incorporate and build because they have all the language models?
So ChatGPT and OpenAI, their main goal is to create foundational models and fine-tune those models and better those models. It would be hard to them and a whole different business concept for them to enter this industry. That's why companies like Zapier, Workato, NA10 are already in here and established.
And also the tools and MCPs that are coming out today, they're really bad at cross-application automations. With our agentic framework, every step of the thinking process is entirely customizable to the user's input. That's what sets us apart. Our accuracy rate is about 30% higher than most automation softwares out there.
Can you just say a few things about the people who've signed up for pilots? What kind of development organizations are they? What problems are they facing? How are you helping them specifically?
Yeah, we can talk about All Hands AI. That was the first design partner that we worked with. They're an open source community, and they have people coming in and giving suggestions on their Slack channel. So it's a thread message of like 50 messages with code, images, and links all over the place. Now someone from their company has to go in, read through everything, get the right context, which is what I talked about earlier, and then finally go and create issues on multiple different platforms. With our agent, they're able to just mention it, say an automation that they created, like create issue, and then everything gets summarized and put into the right places automatically. That's one of the applications that they've been using.
And that saves them 15 to 20 minutes per automation.
So it's about API to spread this data across all these sites.
That's one of the use cases. In the future, it'll be open to a lot more things.
Alana, do you have a question? Alana?
Yes, I was curious about your go-to-market. There are just so many people who could use this. How are you prioritizing? How are you going to get them as customers?
Yeah, we want to, yeah, go ahead.
So basically, right now, surprisingly, all our
Whoops!
Oh boy. we'll get to that later.
Please,
Thank
please
you.
come to the networking event.